Welcome to my workspace. I've been meaning to redesign this place for a while now, but like the shoemaker with no shoes, other projects and priorities have taken center stage, and ultimately my workspace has been looking like this. Not that I can complain. To be fair, there's something very soothing about a nearly empty space. Just like your mind feels cluttered when you live in a cluttered space, a clear, wide, empty space creates a lot of room in your mind. And for a while now, that is what I needed, an empty space in my mind for new ideas to come in. But now I think it's time to do something more substantial with this space, and I would like to take you guys on this transformation journey with me. So in today's video, I want to share the first steps of the design process, which is setting goals for your room design. But first, let me show you this room properly. This room and the apartment is located in an early 1900s building in Vienna, and it is in a fairly good condition if you take into account that the building is about 120 years old. The first entrance of the room is through these double doors, which lead to the corridor. They are placed right in the center of the wall, giving a very strong middle axis in the center of the room. To the right side of these double doors, we have more double doors, which lead to my bedroom. On the right side of these doors, we have a corner window, which I think is the highlight of this space. It gives this room a little charm, which I love. If we turn right yet again, we can see two main windows. They're about 2 meters tall and they flood the room with a lot of light. If we turn right again, we can see the only wall of this room who isn't pierced by a door or a window, which is the only one I guess you can lean any big furniture. One more right turn and we are back at our starting point. So this is the space I have to work with. Look around your room. What would you say are the main features of the room you work with? What about those features will you take into account in your design? For me, it's definitely the double doors and the corner window. Alright, now how might you set goals? When setting goals for a space you wish to redesign, you want to ask yourself some very important questions. Here are some examples, and I'm going to give you some time to think about these. Press pause and grab a piece of paper if you want to write this down. Question number 1. What purpose should this room ultimately serve? What kind of activities do you want to take place in this room? Are these activities that will matter in 5 years or 10 years? Will this room design be useful to you then, or is there some major life event you need to take into consideration when you plan today? For example, if in 5 years you will be retired, your space will have to support a different lifestyle than you have today. So this new life stage might have to be taken into consideration already today. Same if you want to have kids or move in with a partner. All these life events will impact the setup of your space, and if they are not a surprise, you can take them into account in your design today. Now, what are my goals for my space? First things first, this is not just my workspace. It's technically also my living room, but I do not do a lot of living in it. And depending on your personal circumstances, what a living room looks like really depends on your family constellations, the culture you live in, as well as your location in the world. For me, although I keep up with news and social media, I don't watch it on TV in the classical 90s style where you sit down on the couch with your family and look at a screen together. In fact, I don't even have a TV. I watch it on my phone or my computer. When I meet friends, it's rarely at home. I usually meet them in a nearby cafe or at some museum or art opening in the city, which has left this room a little open for interpretation. But here are the goals I have for this room. The purpose of this room is to be a place where I can focus on my various creative projects, where I can film more of these videos, maybe do some art, or develop more furniture prototypes like this one. I also want to have a cozy reading corner, a place where I can cozy up with a book and some tea. It's a little bit hard to imagine now in summer. I don't know if you can see how much I'm sweating, but I do imagine that. So I want to dedicate a corner of this room to my reading habit, where I can just hop in and pick up the book where I left off. If it's possible, I would also like to have a standing desk with a walking treadmill underneath. Why is that? I feel like some of my best ideas come during my walks. There's something about the body moving in a certain constant rhythm that just gets my mind going, and I want to continue moving indoors to keep the ideas sparking. I also want to offer my friends around the world who wish to come visit a temporary place to sleep. A few friends have expressed wanting to come visit, and I have not been able to host them, so this is also one element on my agenda. So yeah, to summarize, I want a place where I can do creative work, read, have some tea, and host on occasion. These are my main goals for this space. What are your goals for your room redesign? Put your goals on a piece of paper because every subsequent design decision you will take will be in relationship to these goals. And even if you find that some of the goals may change on the way, your goals are still the North Star of your project. Alright, besides identifying what the goals of your space are, you should also make an assessment of the advantages and disadvantages of the room in relationship to your goals. But more about this in my next video. Is this a playlist? Yes, it is. You can find the link in the description.